Hey guys, it's me again, Orcs. Where did we last left off? See, checking. I believe they delved into a dungeon, they killed Goliath, Bell entered some sort of blind rage. And did like a very severe blind rage. They went through the Apollo familia pretty easily, like a knife, or like a axe through butter. And anything else indeed. No. So they've taken over Apollo's little estate, and Deku has already claimed a room. Not Deku, Bell essentially has claimed a room already. That's pretty decently sized. He sets up a banner, he sets up his armor, axes, and a few other things to keep everything in shape. He and Integra do share a room. Wealth, Mikado, and Lily all have their separate rooms. They all have pretty decent stuff. Goes on through the days as it would normally proceed in the anime, with the red hair and blue hair. I still can't remember their names for the life of me. They still come over and pretty much ask for the pillow. He gives it. Since they really didn't charge anything, I can't really see that. And I'd say that Hestia would be more along the lines of asking to see if people want, be along the lines of asking Bell, since he's pretty much would be in charge of everyone, how many would really need to recruit. Says the moment they should probably keep it small until they can get a lot of things in order. So as these things continue forward, he does say, well, there are two that we could. As he then brings in the two. Because, now, like I've said before, I don't know if they play a part in the future of this. So I don't know if they, are part of a different familia, or they eventually join him, or what. He calls them Red and Blue. So, Red and Blue, how have you guys been? And sorry about the whole punching you in the face thing. Well, Wealth is at the least. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. She's like, it's fine. It's nothing really that bad. We were during a battle, so it's fine. None of us died, at least. He's like, yeah, that would have been bad, wouldn't it? But anyways. So, what are you guys gonna... So, now that you're part of the familia, now what? Well, we just figured we'd try to going on into some dungeons with you guys. Well, to celebrate, we're having a nice little feast. Join. So as they all start eating, they still see Mikado and her friend try to slink away, with Deku and them following them. Deku has come, not... son of a bitch. Bell has come in his normal clothes. Yeah, normal clothes. As he follows them, he gets separated as he usually would. Integra stayed home this time, so, yeah. Integra stayed home, and as he gets washed away in the mountain of people, or the wave, Bell still runs into Hermes, and he still gets... Hermes is like, Bell, my god, you are married. He's like, I got... Some of our friends tried to, sneak off. We were seeing where they went. Oh, is it that Mikado girl? I have not seen her, just to tell you so. But, here's this. I didn't see you, you didn't see me. He's like, agreed. What is this? He's like, alright. As he goes, wait a second, you gotta show me the way out of here. He's like, whoop, and just teleports away, or whatever he did to, escape Bell. He then runs into Aisha. Aisha? Jesus. She's like, oh, Bell, what are you doing here? As she doesn't take him for one to, do this, since he did resist every single Amazon that approached him. She's like, what are you doing here? He's, gives the explanation. She's like, oh, I don't know, maybe, Well, I gotta go. Well, he's like, thanks. Do you know the way out of here? Oh, yeah, she doesn't really, actually. Yeah, she's like, I don't know, it's pretty busy, so I'd suggest you just wait. Go, there should be a place to eat over there. It's like, oh, thanks. As then he goes to walk over there, He gets captured by a different group of Amazons as he's just hauled away. It's like, no, please. Ah. As then he makes the entire escape. Except much more easily. Instead of, like, he doesn't jump through a window. He literally just rushes forward, pretty much escaping everyone, including Frog. He's like, go away, Frog. As he then jumps, lands, and everything. As he runs, he's like, go, 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 go. The Amazonians that captured him this time did not run to Ishtar. Because Ishtar, she tried, but she would fail. As he's rushing through trying to find his way out, he still meets Haruhime, the yellow-haired fox girl. Yeah, she's a kitsune, I think. Not kitsune, but I think she's just a fox girl or something. I'm not entirely sure. He runs into her. As then he goes to regale her some of his glorious tales of the war. Him actually being one of her favorites that she's heard. After being told some of the stories by Ishtar, not Ishtar, is it Aisha and such? She heard some of the stories of Belle from Aisha and such. She's like, wow. And now the living legend is right in front of her. She's like, wow. So she actually even asked for his autograph. He's like, I don't have one. Just make one up. As he just puts the warhound symbol on there, because the warhound symbol, as then he gets escorted out by her. She's like, thank God. Amazonians are crazy sometimes, I know, but oh well. Then he leaves and the conversation continues forward. He's got it way worse this time. He's got a wife to deal with. She's like, what were you doing there? As Mikado and them tried to tell her what happened, she's like, no excuse, come with me. And then they were gone for several hours. I'm cutting back to a different part. He was then sent out to clean up, and they still run to Hermes, as they typically would. They sort of ask Belle what happened to him. He's like, nothing. Just like, I don't want to talk about it. She's like, what did she do to him? As they went and met up with Hermes. And he still has a whole talking with them. And even Hermes talked to Ishtar and such about a bit more about Belle. That several gods are interested in him, and that there isn't, how do I word this? That there is a reason to be interested in him, especially since he pretty much single-handedly, with one move, considering that Goliath can do such, pretty much regenerate from almost anything, I believe. And how what happened with the whole thing is that Mikado, the light blue hair chick, and all of them pretty much weren't actually hurting him, more or less just slowing him down for, Belle to come in with his berserker rage and slice through him. And pretty much end it single-handedly. Almost single-handedly, at least. They did work to slow him down. And as they hear this, that whole thing with Ishtar happens. Poor Hermes. So they get the whole information. Ishtar then sends out her familia to capture him. This is not going to be easy. Yeah. As they go into the dungeon, working with how well they work and such, they're kicking it into overdrive and bringing in so much money. It's the day after, or the day after that, they're bringing in more money than they've brought in ever. They're bringing in, I think, a possibility a few million every time they go into dungeon, floor by floor, back to back, as they go through it, and they get tons and tons of Valis. As then he gets separated and pulled back. He's like, Aisha, what are you doing here? She's starts to fight him. She's like, I did not want this, so I'm sorry. If I remember correctly, the Amazons kind of fear fear Ishtar and the Toad. I keep on forgetting her name, so I'm just going to refer to her as Toad. Fear her and Toad. So, as they're pretty much forced to fight him, Haruhime still sees him. She is... She sees him fending off every single Amazon that's assailing him. They're literally trying to find a way to pin him down, harm him. He's literally fending off every attack and then like bashing several of them away. When then Toad comes in, he pretty much parries the axe and clocks her right in the face, sending her tumbling. He then gets sliced in the back and shot with several sleeping darts. He's like, what? What is this? As he then keeps on going. He's fighting like a berserker. He's sort of fallen back into that sort of gladiator mindset. Sort of like that mindset when he was in the middle of an entire battle with ghouls and such all around him. He sort of went into his rage again. Special skill activated, berserker rage. As he uses his axe and slices through several of their weapons, cutting clean through and shattering them. When instead of Mikado gets out, follows him and still tries to help him. She gets taken down pretty much almost immediately, as they continuously fight them bit by bit, and it seems like they're gonna win till Toad comes and then pretty much takes a pillar and smacks Belle with it. He gets up after that and charges back in, but then is shot with more sleeping darts and more until he eventually just collapses from exhaustion. Several of them are severely injured. Some of them have even lost their a limb or something. Like a few of them lost an arm. That is how strong he is and how crazy this berserker rage was. Haruhime and such feels very, very guilty because she quite literally just pretty much helped in the downfall of a great war hero. Aisha and the ones that were with her feel terrible, very bad, as he's dragged away. And he's still set up in that whole cell. And the scene plays out pretty much the exact same way. Except this time he just waits patiently, sort of moving side to side and eventually just ripping out everything. The chains are still there. He's sort of walking. As he's walking, Haruhime's like, oh, I thought you needed help. He's like, no. Come on, let's go. As he's sort of reverted back to a mindset. He said, let's go, in a very quick and very growl-like manner, let's go. With then Mikado escaping. They all escape. Aisha tries to kidnap Haruhime from Belle and such. As she tries that, pretty much Belle grabs her and slams her to the ground. He's like, sorry, Aisha. Don't want to do that to a comrade. She's like, oh. It's like, back off now. It's like, sorry, Belle, but we can't do that. He's like, why not? And as she gives the explanation to Belle about what happened and everything, again, a rage fills him, pretty much bringing him to the point of pretty much mindless berserker. He's wanting to charge into that tower now and pretty much throw Ishtar off the top. But he can't do that yet. So he and Mikado retreat for now. And that will be that. Aisha is pretty much saying, we gotta prepare now? As she alerts what has happened and pretty much has everyone on high alert. They have some of their best armor, best weapons, magical weapons. They are bringing out all the stops, trying to at least slow him down. They will not succeed. Then he takes up his axe and starts, at night, marches there. His armor is more like the one he would wear during the war. He leaves the cape and takes sections of his armor off. No, well, I'll say he just leaves the giant cape as he marches there, looking like a tower of, and everyone looking at him just has this urge to like look away and to like make sure not to get into eye contact with them. He's marching and eventually reaches the thing, kicking down the door. They all try to blast him with magic. He shouts fire shield and then firebolt, launching multiple of these fire waves at people, causing pretty much all of them to be unconscious. So like, get the thing over with now. He's coming up the stairs and pretty much rushes through and breaks down every door he can get through. Eventually reaching Ishtar's little throne room, as the others try to stop him, he bashes them away. As Ishtar then tries to seduce him, as she tries in the anime. As a dude tries to get him from the back, Bell reaches his hand backward, picks the dude up by the neck, and then tosses him into a wall. Ishtar tries to charm him, but as she tries to charm him, she just feels like this gut-wrenching feeling as she looks into his eyes and sees nothing but blood rage in his eyes. He comes rushing forward, swinging down his axe and planting it as she had just barely jumped out of the way. As that lands into the ground, it shatters the ground beneath them, not causing it enough for the floor to drop, but it's the crack is reaching all the way to her throne, and it actually even splits her little throne or whatever in half. He looks at her and tries to go after her, but then he realizes Haruhime may be getting killed right now, so he decides to turn his head, with that just barely enough self-control to do it. He keeps on marching. Mikado does the whole explosion, with Bell marching across. As they see him marching, or the door is busted off its hinges as it falls down to the ground. Freya and such has seen this happen as they all look up. They're like, what? Not Aisha, but Freya and her familiar were looking up as they see Bell walking forward. His axe isn't drenched in blood at all. They see all the Amazonians though, pretty much strung about as they're fire damage. He used his fire combo. He's like, I'll go deal with Ishtar, as he then walks forward. The ground is literally cracking beneath him as he's stomping forward. They try to do the whole knife thing. He pretty much firebolts that girl away. Him then getting there and grabbing the dagger and smashing it right in his palm, throwing it away. Within the toe trying to rush forward and finish him, he grabs her hand and breaks it. She's like, what the? Ow! He then takes the axe, slices him right where he would in the anime. As she's stumbled backwards, he literally brings up the other side. He brings up the flat end, not flat end, but no, scratch that. He literally walks over to one of those pillars that were near Haruhime. He picks it up and just brings it down on the toad, sending her falling straight through the ground and such. As she's looking around seeing what has happened, she still gets her head smashed in. Now comes the fight with Aisha and Bell. Aisha doesn't want to fight him. She knows that if she tries to fight him, she may as well be signing her own death. As then she comes rushing at Bell, seeing, and actually in a way is curious to see if her strength is even equal, or even somewhat equal to his. She comes swinging the sword. He literally just grabs it with great strength, pretty much all the force he can muster. He pretty much grabs it and yanks it out of Aisha's hand, throwing it away. Them going and picking Aisha up, saying, you don't want to do this. So he pretty much sets her down, then helping Haruhime up as they get all that sword away. And with no real reason to have Hestia go run off, they don't have that entire part where they go check out even the, like, I believe his name is Ares. Yeah, Ares. He doesn't really attempt the kidnapping, because he hears the story that the Warhound dwells in the city, and knowing what the Warhound is from the stories, he knows that, yeah, he is not gonna mess with that. The God of War fears Bel. That should show you the status of his rage and strength, that even some gods are scared of him. But that will be in this. They all have a happily ever after. That's until the third season for Danmachi comes out. Hope you all have enjoyed this. And before you go, I'm gonna show you guys. Sorry. You guys can hear this. You can tell these are the buckets that I have the new what ifs in. Now the one on my right, on my right is the Bel what if. One on my left is the Deku what if. Let me just so you guys know I'm not lying. Pick my favorites. Here's a what if, and here's another what if. The what if I got for Deku will be, son of a bitch, will be continue. What if Deku was a fallen? That will be the Deku what if. This is fate. I drew from the bucket to ensure that actually worked, and I shook it up, messed around with it with my hands and everything. I got this thing like 1 out of 10 times. 7 times I got this. So yeah, continue. What if Deku was a fallen? That's gonna be the next Deku what if. And here we are. The next Bel what if will be, what if Bel was a nameless king? Sweet. Well, y'all will have to look forward to that. I'm gonna take a tiny little break to catch up on the lore of Destiny, and gonna take a day or two to look at the lore for Destiny to make sure I don't forget anything. And I'll do the Fallen what if until, like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I hope y'all have enjoyed this, and I hope y'all have a nice day, nice night, nice life.